Thank you for standing. Let's bow our heads. Gracious Lord, you are the King of the nations, the ruler we all long for, the cornerstone uniting all people. And yet, though you are Lord of hosts, you have humbled yourself that we might live not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit. Lord, you have placed people in positions of authority, and in this new year, they now bear your responsibility. Grace them with the confidence of faith that they might be servant leaders. May your kingdom be firmly established in our hearts and our minds so that your good and gracious will may be done among us. Be the helper and the comforter of those dear friends who are called together to be the check and balance of our local government. And according to your wisdom, lead them in the paths of righteousness for your name's sake, that our citizens and our growing community may have quiet days and peaceable lives. I do pray, Lord, for our marriages and families, that they may be kept in your love and respect and honor. I pray for our churches, Lord, that they may follow your wisdom and build goodwill in our community. I pray for our schools, that they may feed mind and spirit with your truth. I pray, Lord, for our community businesses, for our public works, for our public affairs, and all those things that are necessary to encourage your way among us. And I pray, Father, for our judges, for our corrections, and for those who are in a harder way, that indeed they may not freeze, but according to your mercies, there may be a white flag of hope for them. For our law enforcement, for our firefighters, our first responders, may they stand the watch in faithfulness. For our military warriors and warfighters who are deployed, and for the families who support them and await their return, I pray that you would give your angels watch over them. Guard and guide our Mayor Jose, our council, and all who hold public office. Bless their work and decisions. Let them and all those under their care make wise choices and live God-pleasing lives. And I pray, Lord, for this meeting, that we may promote that which is good and right among us. Guard and guide us for the sake of your only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory, now and forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Thomas, thank you again. Love the beard.
Thank you. Yes.
Love the beard.
Ho, ho, ho.
I like it. I like it. Maybe a little jealousy on my part, Pastor. All right, well, thank you all. All right, I need a call to order. Our meeting is 6:03. Miss Brenda, can I get a roll call, please?
Bonnie,
Here.
Faith,
Here.
Brad,
Here.
Mike,
Here.
Jennifer,
Here.
Paula.
All right, we need and we do apologize. We do want to make sure we haven't needed approval for the 21st special meeting that we had for the sewer department. I need a motion to approve that. Mike?
No, I need a second.
Miss Paula,
Paula,
in a second? You want to?
No, I didn't even.
Oh, it's on.
Oh. Second. Oh, okay.
Faith,
We got to stop
That
the
was
meeting. 'cause
Faith.
All right. Can you give
Okay.
a roll call, please?
Faith,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Paula. Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Bonnie.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Now for back to normalcy. I need approval for the January 8th meeting, regular meeting notes. Need a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Faith, second by Paula.
Okay.
Miss Brenda?
Brad,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and Faith.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you all for that. All right, we're going to start with presentations. I do want to let you know that Jenny Manis could not make it today for the turnaround, so she's going to be on the docket for, she's going to give you an update on White Flag and also some things that we have learned about some of these individuals and trying to help them, maybe some job opportunities. We've got a really good start. There's 2 gentlemen today that went for job interviews that have been part of our White Flag, so we're really excited about getting some folks a chance to get back out there, and it's a good start. She has another lady that she's working with that's obviously got some opportunities in her life, but she's finding a place for her to actually work through the turnaround. So kind of a really good start to some things. So we've got a lot of work in front of us, but I wanted her to at least come up and talk a little bit. We brought a superstar. Jeremy, would you come up here and hit that little button and tell us what's going on? How you doing today? All right, all right.
All right. So we had our last planning commission meeting last Thursday, or, no, it was 2 Thursdays ago, sorry. And we only had one, rezoning case on the docket that was in the city of Shepherdsville, and that was for, property owned by Mr. Rasner, which is about a half acre that's between Kentucky 61, Buckman Street and
The
the
old ball
railroad.
property for
It's-
everybody.
What's that?
It's a ball property that was right across from like Big O, that area that we had all cleaned up and the houses that were there that, yep.
So it was, it's definitely looks a lot better than it has, in the last few years. And, I think they wanted to take it from, I believe it was R2 and going to B2. And, looking at really the area there, it is not set up for residential. I mean, even before 61 was reconstructed, it wasn't great for residential. But I think, Mr. Rasner had indicated that he wanted to try to set up an opportunity for either, I believe it was, food trucks to set up, and then potentially like a welcome to Shepherdsville sign. I think really anything like that is going to leave the property in better condition than it has been in the recent past. I think going forward, there will be concerns in terms of getting in and out of there, that the transportation cabinet will have to permit in terms of using entrances and modifying those, and especially the placement of a sign. Which, doesn't affect rezoning. It's just things that need to be addressed, hopefully before the property owner goes too far.
No, yeah, he wanted to put a sign, just so you all know, he wanted to have a sign that he's gonna actually have her marked that, but it's also like a welcome to Shepherdsville sign that he's working with us on. He's actually got a part of the logo that's no cost to us. We have something on there, but he has, actually, that sign is gonna be one of those rotating signs with different things, different activities in the community, things like that people can at least get some idea when they come across Preston and you're coming down into the Buckman area, that you'll get a chance to, see the sign, see whatever's going on in the city, so. Kind of think that's kind of a cool thing that he's working on. Definite improvement with that. I know we don't have a lot on the dock, but I got a feeling you're gonna be busy over the next 3-4 months. Just saying. There's some things coming down the pipe.
I'll be ready for it.
Right.
Busy in my day job too, so it's.
I got you.
And I will, last week, this is part of my day job, but it's related, attended the Kentuckians for Better Transportation Conference. It was in downtown Louisville last week. And it's a collection of people within the transportation industry, as well as city and county officials throughout the state. And it's really a good opportunity for collaboration between municipal official, whether it's mayors, city council people, or even city engineers, to collaborate. And one of the new there's a new let's see, what's the word here? There's a new tool that's been recently passed by the legislature, and I don't know if it was in the last session, but it's a transportation improvement district. And so it can be set up by a county, or I believe a city of over 20,000, which I think we're below that. But it allows for communities to pool different funding sources together for kind of a united transportation goal, in terms of whether it be pedestrian improvements, vehicular, or even rail. So that's something that it's something to look into, that could be on the horizon. I know the northern Kentucky counties, they're growing a little faster, but I think they're the ones who have kind of spearheaded this, but I think we can look to northern Kentucky as kind of some guidance in how they're a little further ahead on the curve in terms of getting funding for and planning transportation improvements, but also getting ahead of development as it comes in, especially the warehouses and that, because they're fighting the same battle that we are in terms of getting the development that they want. That's comes about every year, so I think should make sure to send our mayor next year.
It's tough to go to, yeah, could make it.
It'll be a good opportunity. So,
Look, Jeremy, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right.
leave it on.
Leave it on, that's fine. Jeremy, thank you. Appreciate you coming out, man. Appreciate it. Do you? All right, so Ms. Courtney, would you come up and see us for a minute? Give us an update on what's been going on. Long time no see. I think it was 8 o'clock this morning.
Clearly, we coordinated.
Did y'all call each other?
We did. You missed a call, Bonnie. You would have been hot pink too. Just kidding.
All right.
Want to give a couple of updates. Economic development, there's so many pieces, so we're gonna focus on 3 today, just to make sure that we're all, kind of up to date on what we're doing. As far as partnership and community investment, we have a pretty big announcement that is, I don't know what the percentage, but we are really close to closing a hundreds of thousands of dollars commitment from someone, and it's going to be a game changer. And what that's going to offer to our community is, you know, the kids of our community in a year from now and 2 years from now are going to have 10 times what they had a year ago. And that's amazing. So just so you know, we have a community partner that has really stepped up, and we are pretty excited about that. So to say that we are going to have a really cool skate park, I think, is an understatement. So that's one of the things. And also partnering with, there's a couple of people we hadn't really talked about in the distribution centers, but also in this very space, right in this Conestoga area, there's folks who are interested in partnering with park development. It's just getting those renderings and make sure that we're really, you know, just like you guys, we're always talking about time frame. When is it going to get started? When it's hard to say, hey, will you sponsor? Will you be a partner with us? But we're going to get started within the next year and a half. And you know, so it's just really creating relationships and then solidifying the details once we get those renderings, once we get some of those beautiful drawings we saw recently about Town Square. So it's coming, and we have so many conversations on the table. It's just when we get some solidified drawings, when we get some time frames, I think that's really when we're going to see people signing on the dotted line. So that's one thing. Another thing that we've been working on that I haven't talked about much, but when the mayor and I were meeting, we were talking about, he keeps saying, make sure you're covering all the areas of economic development. It's not just the fundraising piece. So one thing to know, I'm working with a couple of local real estate agents. We're doing an aerial view of the Buckman area and give or take a block, right? And we're looking at all of the spaces that are available for rent or for lease, all of the spaces that are for sale or that the owners right now are considering putting up for sale, and then those spaces who are absolutely settled and there is no chance they're going to make a move in the next few years. So that really helps us gray out the areas we know we don't need to focus time and energy on. We just want to make sure we know what those businesses need, that we can support them in their economic journey. But then on the other 2, let's talk about the places that are for sale, and let's start really being mindful. What does the space look like? What's the layout? What do we want in that space? And the same thing with it, the purchasing is one thing, but also just the renting. You know, we want to make sure that the city of Shepherdsville has the things we want. We have these attractions coming to the park, and we have the aquatic center coming. We want to make sure when you're walking up and down Buckman, you have these things. So again, when we're looking at this aerial view, we've been putting some pieces together. Like we all know, there's the wine and coffee shop coming. We know that there is a salon coming. We know that there is the new boutique. She is committed and coming, and then 90% on a gift store, like a homemade gift store, made with love kind of thing coming. So we had a preliminary vision that's coming to life. Now let's really get into the meat and potatoes. Let's look block by block. What are the square footages of the spaces that are available? And then who wants to do what? What are the things that we need the most? And that's where you guys hear from your constituents. You know what people are looking for. Please help me with what do we want? Who do we want to recruit? And let's go get some folks to come down and relocate to downtown Shepherdsville, because I think now we have some recruiting pieces. We have some photos of what the city park is going to look like. We know what the town square is going to look like. We know this is where this business is going to be. We're working, you know, really hard on a bed and breakfast. These buildings are sitting empty. So whatever we can do to have somebody come in and take some pride in that space and that acreage, That is economic development. All that is going to do is lead to the next person and the next person. So I wanted to make sure not only are we working on relationships constantly, but economic development also is developing the spaces in which the economy thrives. And that's a big deal. And then the last part I just wanted to talk about is just creating connections with our leadership. Today was an opportunity. We had the coffee with the legislators, and it was so awesome afterwards to talk. It's funny, the state representatives are asking us, what is going on in Shepherdsville? The buzz is happening, and so it's really awesome that Shepherdsville has such a positive light on it. It made me so proud. So I just wanted to say, even at the state level, you know, Senator Nemes was really bragging on us and bragging, and I am proud of that. And I thank you guys for making the decisions and some of the votes that you've voted. It's really positioned Shepherdsville to be in a place that it's remarkable and it's exciting. So, questions? Yes.
I think it's great to bring in the businesses into the downtown area. I don't want to see the buildings change as much, other than maybe making them look better. When you start changing to modern buildings, then we're taking the small town look away. When I go to Brown County, Indiana, I don't know how many, Faith and Stacy and I went, it's great. It's all the old buildings. You walk through them, the floors are uneven, but the shopping's great, the atmospheres are really great. The same thing goes for Bardstown, Albuquerque. They've got excellent down there for that. Same thing, the really old buildings and the uneven floors, but the shopping is great. The people are great. They have dancing in the streets and things like that. So I don't want to go in and tear down a bunch of buildings and put up new buildings. I'd like to keep the old buildings and just revive them, if that's possible, because I don't know, you know, what our option is. If we're looking at real estate, then we're possibly looking at buying more of these buildings down there, and we've already got some being tore down. I really don't want to tear down anymore if we can help it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and the one project I'm personally involved with, it is my job. I want to preserve as much of the old Main Street look as possible. We are spending extra money to preserve the old time look versus go into some new age, and there's not one person that we've spoken with that doesn't feel the same way. I mean, the renderings we have and our vision is for a Main Street that is family friendly, that's really a historic nod to a respectful restoration of Shepherdsville, the way that I grew up seeing it.
So I just want to add to that. So if you guys have noticed, we've had some awnings too, but we've not, with the structural bonding, we've kind of left them alone because, I mean, we don't have that many buildings to start with. I mean, it's because of the
very
flooding. The
few.
flooding that's happened downtown has really destroyed the two-story building that I wanted to keep originally. As we started with it,
It's just
it's getting ready to fall.
poorly maintained.
It's that bad. So that's the building. It's actually in the town square area. You're going to get those renderings tonight. We've been working on it the last couple of days.
Sure.
You know,
No, I agree with you.
There's only one.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, there's only one building, but the rest of the buildings are gone. I mean, they're not, we only have like the bank there, and you've got the little strip there that's on one side, but all of the rest of the fiscal court building, all the way to 44 is all new
yeah,
building.
that bank's a lot of history. I mean,
No, it's a
if
great.
we were able to open
Absolutely.
that up for tour
Can you
downstairs, you've
imagine
got the
that?
vault and everything.
Yes, yes.
Can we put you in
I don't care,
Okay.
as long as there's money in it.
there? As long as you got
As
money
long
in
as
it?
there's. Well, I agree with you, and I look forward to restoring and maintaining absolutely as much as possible.
Okay,
One thing else
appreciate
too,
that.
Yes.
she mentioned about the downtown focus. One of the things we're doing with her and Anita and our meeting now, we're actually not just talking about downtown. We're actually getting our chamber to start looking at full-service restaurants, better shopping here, right? So we don't have to leave. How about a craft store to here, so you don't have to go to Outer Loop or E-Town? That's kind of the things we're looking at. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
You know how many times I've heard that?
Business.
I'm telling you, my wife knows this, but there's been a lot of conversations. I mean, it would generate, and it didn't have to be an actual brand, a chain restaurant, I mean, a concept. It could be
Right.
Bonnie's craft store. We just need something, because I've seen so much. Would you do that, Bonnie? Open up the concept? I'm gonna put you down for a maybe on that. But I think, that's what we're trying to do now. So not only are we looking at the downtown experience that you want to have, but we're looking at what do we want to have here to be more sufficient in Shepherdsville. That's kind of what we're going, and it's really helping that a lot of people are talking to us. A lot of private investors are going, hey, what's going on in Shepherdsville? Well, there's a lot of things, you're developing a lot of things for families. They're seeing that as a benefit, right? So that's how we're looking at this. That's a key to it. Those connections, those relationships are gonna be real important to us. We do actually have some very nice commitments on some finances that we're probably gonna be able to tell you here another 30, 60 days, but we just wanna, we're talking, a couple of them are $500,000. So it's really kind of exciting. So that's the stuff that we wanna make sure that they can say yes and give us that, because we've got things we've sent to them, and there's things that we're gonna present to them the next couple of weeks. Once we get that, they've given us verbal commitments on that money, so that's kind of a cool thing.
And we are working hard on sponsorships, but just so you know, the next thing coming and we're really gonna work on is housing. I mean, economic development, you can do so much, but you have to have the housing to back it up. So again, it's like drinking from a fire hose, but we are prioritizing. We meet weekly. It's like, okay, these are the 4 things we're gonna work on, and here's the 27 we're gonna reprioritize for next week. So if you have any input, if you have something that's like, hey, throw that into the absolute priority bucket, we'll do that. Just keep me posted, and especially as you're hearing and you are, listening to what is being said and what are the priorities, we wanna make sure we're representing everyone.
I appreciate it. Anybody else? Any comments?
I was just gonna say, with the downtown district, you're worried about keeping the buildings
the way they look. We can easily just ask that anybody who comes in, if they are gonna redo the building, that they just redo it in a style instead of making it modern, just make
Yes.
it kinda
You
like
can
a
still
downtown
do
Louisville.
facades, called
Exactly.
facades.
You
Yeah,
can
the
still
Iron
do
Quarter.
yes.
They kept the facades,
That's
they
right.
rebuilt the
Exactly.
buildings,
And I
so
think
we
that's
can
the
do that.
difference. If you have a vision that you're sharing, and you have color schemes and you have textures that you're sharing, that gives people something to go by versus
Right.
just saying, good luck with your
Yeah.
light blue or what, we don't wanna do that.
Right.
We wanna be conscientious of what the park is looking like, what the aquatic center looks like, and really complement that with a
Yes.
very neutral color scheme, a lot of metals, because you
Yes.
can do so much. And still, it's, like I said, it's a very respectful nod to
Right.
the old time Shepherdsville, but you can put a modern touch on it without making it too, and that's my
Exactly.
goal.
Right.
Don't you think if I'm asking you to come in and put your business, if I'm showing you, here's some examples of what we're talking about, then you now have a color scheme, you now have a
Right.
pattern to go by, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. Thank you, Ms. Bonnie.
Yes. Anybody else?
Courtney, thanks for coming in.
You know,
Appreciate it.
about-
Oh, yes, Mike.
About color schemes and such, I know a couple of councils back, they talked about, making it along the line that if you're going to redo the facade, or if you're going to paint the front of your building, that we dictate somewhat earth tones, something like that, not,
Right.
not like some at the end of,
Bardstown has amazing.
I know which one you're talking about, Mike.
You know.
It's on our
Bardstown is
radar.
beautiful
It's
on
on our
that
radar.
scale. Bardstown is beautiful because the ordinances that they not only are established,
Right.
but they hold everyone to the T.
They do. Exactly.
So if that's the direction
That's
we
something
want
we
to-
can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We definitely have that.
And
at
that's
our
something we could do in
fingertips.
an ordinance too,
Yes.
you know.
Right,
I mean,
yes.
I believe it, years ago, didn't they do that with the warehouses, Bonnie? Weren't the warehouses supposed to be like neutral colors?
Yes.
It didn't-
They
I know
normally
we
are.
talked
They
about
Yeah.
normally
it.
are. Yeah, they normally
Yeah,
are.
they're normally
The
beige.
hardest part for us is so much of it's gone. That's the problem. But what I would, anybody that would like to build, I mean, obviously that's down there, you're not changing that facade. We want that kept.
Yeah.
But again, it's just so minimal. It's just so much is lost through the years. It's not been managed properly. And I guess because it's the 61, the state road, it's just lost that part. But we can do some things to keep that. We're gonna do some really cool things. We got some things in the park that just, I showed Faith a little bit of today, but I've got things to send you guys.
Yes,
That
it
you'll get a
is.
really good idea of the
And
Again,
the-
when
town
and
you're-
that
square.
when you're
building
talking to a
he's-
business and you can show those
I know.
renderings,
Yeah,
That's a
I know,
huge
I want
recruitment
I wanna
tool.
show them that. The building you were talking about, that would be a cute, like, garage bar. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with it, but that'd be a cute little garage bar or something like that. Bullock County Bank.
Yeah.
You could separate, whoever bought that could separate it and put like you said, that little shop that says a little love, homemade love, and maybe a little cafe, and, you know, if I had the money, I'd buy it, but I ain't rich.
All right.
okay?
Courtney, thank
guys
you.
so
Thank you
much.
very
Thank
much.
you,
I
Courtney.
appreciate it.
I have a
Oh,
question. Are
yeah.
any of the buildings, I don't believe they are, but are any of them on a historical register or anything?
The one is the, First Bank and Beauty.
Is it for sure? I don't know, but I hope it is.
Luma, but that's on the other end.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
that. That's a nice looking house.
What about that house, what about the house that's across from the old library?
Oh, you mean the bed and breakfast? You have to use your imagination?
Yes.
I'm just
Yeah.
speaking it into existence.
Yes, I love
Yes,
that
me
building.
too.
Is
I've
it,
I do
got a color
too.
scheme for it. I'm ready. I just need someone to
Yeah.
I would
make it a
say
bed
it
and
is.
breakfast.
I would
It is
say it's
beautiful.
historical.
Is that a great place for a bed and breakfast?
It gets flooded though.
Well, we're gonna have to fix it.
Well, we gotta fix it, yes.
Exactly.
I love that
Okay.
house.
All right, just one-
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
by the way, excellent job on getting this donor, this anonymous for the moment donor. And that is very exciting, and awesome for the city. Maybe somewhere in that line that Tanya does for the thing, we'll have a quote, profit.
For the one,
It's called a profit in accounting. It's not really a profit. I
from the
don't
one
know.
who doesn't like numbers. All right.
Well, we can say we're moving on up.
All right, well, thank you for that. All right, just a quick note on old business. And I'll get back with you on the ethics board. I wanted to talk to you about, but anyway, not today. But today I want to make sure, Mike Brady has decided to resign, and Miss Deb ran off. She is the alternate. So Deb Hoffman is now going to be on the code enforcement. She was the alternate on their force, but Mike Brady has decided to resign. He's gonna be busy with fish fries at St. Aloysius. More than that, but I decided to say that. But anyway, he decided to, and I told him it's fine. We appreciate what he's done. Code enforcement's been integral. Not a lot of engagement, but they've got a chance to stay together. They've had their meetings. Kind of want to do that with the ethics board. We were talking, Joe and I were talking the other day, so we'll do that. So want to congratulate her, but she's not with us. She ran away, but we'll congratulate her when she gets
We'll
back.
just all clap when she walks back in.
All right, when Deb walks in, everybody just start clapping. All right, that's our goal. Let's see if
Hey,
she
let
comes
us
in.
know
All
when she's coming.
right, we'll know. All right, still new business.
Can we
All right.
just say, happy birthday, Charlie?
Yeah, happy birthday, Charlie.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I did it on Facebook and I did it on, so I got you covered. I got it covered. All right, so we got new business and obviously, Deb, I'll let everybody know you're on the code enforcement board now. You're an official member of the 3 board members, so you weren't here to congratulate, so we decided we'd just clap for you when you came in. No worries, no worries. All right, so new business is obviously a little bit of information for each of you. These are rezonings for the Airbnb that is kind of a little bit. Jennifer did some research. Thank you, first of all. We have more than we thought as far as Airbnbs in our community. So what we'd like to do is get ahead of it, because as you look at Derby events and other things that happen in Louisville, people are going to start considering if they have communities to actually have these Airbnbs, and we'd love to have a couple downtown. So as we look at our opportunities, we've got to be able to put something out front that says we want a standard. I will tell you that Faith told me one good observation she saw that it was renovation of the property once they made it an Airbnb. So at least it's a good start, but it is that maybe something that maybe isn't right now for us, but why don't we get some proactive ordinances? So I've got Jennifer working on it with Faith, and so we're going to have our first reading on the planning and zoning of these 3 properties, and they're all off Eastview. So, Ms. Catherine?
Okay, well, I normally don't ask for a sponsor on these since I figure everyone wants the sponsored, otherwise it's automatic, but starting off a new year, so who would like to sponsor this first one?
Jen, this is all the B&Bs. Airbnbs.
Yeah, yeah, this is the rezoning. I mean, if we don't read it, it automatically goes into effect, so that's why previously I've never asked, but
I'll sponsor.
just to be more thorough.
Are we gonna hold discussion till all 3 of them been read?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
I was gonna say.
yes. I want to just, this way we can get that part done and then we'll come back. Yeah, I'm
The
not,
voting
oh,
will need to
absolutely.
be done separately,
Right.
Yeah,
at the
we're
next
not
meeting.
voting today.
We're not
Yes.
voting today.
No.
No, I wanted to just get the first
I
reading.
didn't see any sense of reading and then discussing.
No, let's do them all 3.
All right, summary of ordinance 024001, an ordinance amending the Bullock County City Zoning Order and the Bullock County City Zoning Map as amended, changing the zoning of .395 acres more or less located at 546 Eastview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045 SWP 04002, from R1 residential to R2 residential. Summary, number 1, rezones approximately .395 acres located at 546 Eastview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, from R1 residential to R2 residential. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
All right. Our next ordinance here is 024002.
Anyone want to volunteer to sponsor this one?
I'll sponsor it.
Summary ordinance 024002, an ordinance amending the Bullock County City zoning order and the Bullock County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of .480 acres more or less located at 572 Eastview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045 SWP 04001C from R1 residential to R2 residential. Summary 1, rezones approximately 4.480 acres located at 572 Eastview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, from R1 residential to R2 residential. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
All right, thank you, Ms. Catherine. We have one last one.
All right, this is another rezoning. Anyone want to sponsor this one? Thank you, Paula. Summary of ordinance 024-003, an ordinance amending the Bullock County City zoning order and the Bullock County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of .436 acres more or less located at 596 Eastview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045 SWP 04001B from R1 residential to R2 residential. Summary, number 1, rezones approximately .436 acres located at 596 Eastview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, from R1 residential to R2 residential. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
All right, thank you, Ms. Catherine. All right, Ms. Bonnie, you want to start the conversation? We have, what's that? Oh, you want to bring them up?
I think we should. Answer questions.
No, the owners of the property. Come on up here. How you doing today? We won't grill you too much. Good evening to you.
Turn the mic on.
Yeah, if you could just click that button on top. There you go. All right, would you state your name and where you live, please?
Todd Rayhill. Where, did you say where I
Where
live?
you reside, yes.
219 Matthew Blingwell Drive, Mount Washington.
No, we're glad to have you here. The biggest thing is, this is obviously new for us, our Airbnbs, and so I know this council's been talking a little bit about it. We've got some information. Jennifer has worked on some stuff. Faith has made some inroads. And so what, guys, I mean, ask your questions, and I would at least make sure that if there's anything you have any questions about. Bonnie, I know you were on it. Did you want to start this
Do
conversation?
you have questions, Bonnie? I do.
One concern that we've discussed is partying at these, like if you're renting them out at Derby time and things like that. I mean, this is a small neighborhood, quiet neighborhood, and we're concerned about things like that happening. You know,
We don't allow,
you're not gonna allow that?
we don't allow party.
Well, I mean, but if you rent it out to a bunch of Derby people, there's a possibility there'll be partying.
Yes, ma'am. If we get, people around the neighborhood, neighbors will usually call us and let us know if something's happening. We're usually pretty good about going down and straightening everything out.
Is there adequate parking?
There is.
Yes, yes.
And then we've talked about some ordinances for
Yeah.
Airbnbs that
Yeah.
we,
I was gonna say, our ordinances in itself covers a lot of what happens to that property, how it's maintained, okay? I mean, obviously noise levels and being in a neighborhood, those kind of things would actually be addressed by the city, you know, from a code enforcement, or maybe just having, you know, something being the time of the night, could be a law enforcement stop by and say, hey, can we just, you know, because it's a neighborhood. So those things could be a possibility. You know, we're not saying that is, but I think it's important that because of our ordinance in place, we'll cover a lot of that, Bonnie. We can look at it a little bit further, you know, I know
Yeah.
Jennifer and Faith are looking at some stuff, but I think our basic code enforcement should cover that. If you look at what we've got,
That's,
yeah, and we know you're workable with that. I mean, we get that. I think the thing is for a lot of us, I don't know, you know, Brad, if you want to add something to this, Faith, did you want to?
Were you already operating these as long-term, type rentals or?
yes, they're currently long-term Blue Oval. We're doing some Blue Oval.
Yeah, yeah.
Long-term, some Airbnb and some rentals right now. We're trying to phase them all into Airbnb and Blue Oval since it's,
Right.
So what's Blue Oval? I'm
The
not
battery
sure.
place in Glendale.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, they're losing, housing, so they're starting to come this way.
So are you renting them as Airbnbs or are you renting them as long-term?
Well, to the Blue Oval, it's long-term,
Okay, okay.
leases and the whole 9 yards.
Because I know, I think you have, I know, I live on that street.
ma'am. Yes,
And, I've had several people call me. And one, I know he's discussed things with you, and he says that anytime he calls Todd, that he takes care of it, like his
596
yard,
neighbor,
right next to the very last one you own.
yes.
He's a good guy. He's
we-
just a little worried because he has a
Well,
shop.
we,
and-
we had a problem with renters thinking they could park in his yard.
Right, I remember because he would
So-
always call me.
He called me and I was straight down and I said, you
Yeah.
cannot do that.
He said you did. He said you'd fix the yard, and stuff like that. I was wondering if down through that end, if maybe you could put a privacy fence, like in the back, or to kind of buffer his property.
There is he has a problem.
He has one, I know, but he says it don't buffer. What about trees or something that might buffer that?
It's lined in trees on the back. Not right now, of course, but,
Right.
in the summer, it's full of foliage.
Yeah, I know, all the way down through there's trees. Yeah, he just mentioned that, he has a workshop, and one person that was renting it made a comment, oh, I hear you're out there working at night. And
We have gotten great compliments from neighbors telling
Oh,
me
they
how
have
much
told
better
me.
it is that they are
Yeah.
Airbnbs.
Do you have cameras on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Every
then
one
that
of them
would,
has cameras.
so if anything happened, then you would know, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure that if something come
Sometimes
up,
I'm a little
yeah.
too much.
If something come up
It's
messing
your
or,
property. It's your property.
Gotta
Right.
take care of it.
a couple of them said, well, if something comes up messing, I'm like, well, he has a, I'm
actually
sure he
did have-
charges a credit card, and he's gonna get your money for you, so.
That's what makes it so nice. I hate evicting people. It tears me up, but has to be done sometimes, but this way it kind of gets rid of that.
Well, it looks really good.
Well,
I'm
thank you.
gonna compliment you.
And we
on
have
it.
put
Looks-
money into them for the Airbnbs.
Yeah, I rode down, looked at them, and ones I knew were empty, I looked in the back, and they look really
Well,
nice, they
thank
do.
you. Thank you.
I think that's the expectation. This is gonna be new to our city, and it's not really a city that you look at it from an Airbnb standpoint, right?
It just brings more people into the city. too.
And again, there's obviously, it's a newness to us. We'll get things worked out on the ordinance, but I guess,
I
and
got my
obviously.
business license.
No.
Good. And another thing, on your page where you rent them out, could you maybe put in there about the, speed limit? And it's not you, it's not.
No, that's no problem.
But it's
no problem.
best to have
On the
that.
Airbnb page?
Yeah, when you rent it out, please remember that the
Just
speed
remind
limit's.
them to, yes, that's no problem.
Because we have a lot of trouble with that,
Well,
People on the street doing that.
it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
it probably used to be a 2-lane, but I don't know, the bigger cars back.
It's
then.
like a 1.5,
Yeah.
is it?
It's a
Well,
one.
I was told the last time they blacktopped it, it got more narrow. I don't know. It needs to be blacktopped.
It has been
now.
there a few years.
Hint, hint, it needs to be blacktopped again, but.
So I don't know if they might have any other questions for the next meeting. Is there a way that we're all good with everything? I mean, so we've got another reading before actually approving this, but they wanted it. I don't know if we could reach out we have a number to reach him, or do we have anything?
I don't have a number,
I
but
don't
he
know
could give
that,
you.
I don't know that we need anything, but again, I just wanna make sure that,
How long are you thinking?
I'm sorry?
How long? I can stay.
Well, the next meeting is when we'll vote on it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so
So
again.
that'll be
yeah,
February
not so
the
much today, but
12th.
We just glad you're here, and appreciate what you've done with the properties, because I know that that's a big deal, because obviously it should raise the standards for everybody, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're looking for, all of our neighborhoods taking up and moving up a little bit, so.
Exactly.
I appreciate what you've done, I mean, obviously, we hope it turns out good, but again, it's new to us, but we'll get our.
Do you have a business card?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
can
well-
you write your number down?
I got a question for Todd.
And yes, I did see the pictures of them, your places are beautiful. Okay, thank you.
Todd, did you say you're gonna do, short-term Airbnb and long-term lease with, Blue Oval?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're gonna be here for a while,
Yeah.
a lot of construction, quite a bit going on.
And There's a
Yeah, there
plenty,
should
there's
be
plenty.
some new ones coming in, cause, a bunch of them just ended the ductwork people are done now, so now they're. gonna be-
Phase one.
Yes, new faces coming in.
Thank you very much for being here,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Todd, I've got
Tom.
a few questions that I want to make sure we get on the record. So when you say Airbnb, are you literally going through Airbnb versus
ma'am.
like Verbo or something
Yes, ma'am.
else?
Yes,
Okay, and Jennifer handed me
Yeah.
their policies, I guess. they and the renter and you, the
Yes.
renters and you agree to
Yes,
these?
yes.
Okay. And then, how many bedrooms are?
2 bedrooms.
Each, all of them?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all the,
And so when the people are coming in and out, do you ever observe like how many people, cause I know it's
Yes. That's
two
I watch my
per
camera too much.
bedroom plus two, yeah.
Too
Well, I
much.
mean, like if people are, like you notice a large group of
Yes,
people
yes.
come in, you would say.
Like I said, the neighbors are usually, I got a call like 2 months ago, and she said, you might wanna come down here. I said,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
does Airbnb have a restriction of how many people can?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Do you know it offhand, just?
It's according how many bedrooms.
It's 2 people per bedroom
Yes, yes.
plus 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do,
I found it on the website.
does Airbnb, do they pay the same taxes like hotel taxes do to tourism?
I,
No?
I don't know.
I think they're supposed to.
I reached out to Troy Beam, who's the head director of our Bullock County Tourism. Actually, Airbnb is
Does,
probably one of the worst offenders.
oh, it was verbal,
They just don't report.
right.
Oh,
I don't know as they collect anything, but they sure don't, they don't report anything. And in this whole scenario of things, I think you're doing it the right way to get your property rezoned to where it meets the requirements of everything.
Yes, sir.
But we've seen lists of existing, or what is considered existing Airbnbs in the city that ever since I've been involved here, since 2017, I've never seen a rezoning request. So I don't know how many of them may still be possibly R1, being utilized as an Airbnb, short-term rental, and just never bothered to change anything. No business license, no fees, and some of the fees that Airbnb collects, when you look at the sites, depending on the total bill, can be a fairly hefty amount.
I told
Particularly
planning and
Derby
zoning,
time.
I told planning and zoning, I like to stay ahead of the game, not behind it.
Right, yeah.
Well, obviously with you said, with the zoning here has actually got us thinking about all this, so we're gonna be working on our end, what we need to do for the city.
It's
standpoint. So
growing.
we're gonna do our
It's-
part too.
It's growing. so.
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, for sure.
All right, so you've got a number of cases, somebody, I mean,
Yes, I got
if you had any
it.
questions, but our next meeting is the second reading of that, so if we had any questions, I mean, obviously Jennifer can reach out to you, that can send.
Anytime.
There was
Yeah,
12,
me and
isn't it?
Faith will do
Oh, anytime,
Hey,
anytime.
thank you very much,
Thank you.
appreciate you coming
Y'all
out.
have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, council.
Is it the 12th?
No, Joe Coppin, did you want to speak? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Come on, Joe.
Todd, the next meeting is February the 12th, okay?
Yeah, thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Yes, Joe?
Joe Kaufman, and I thank you, Mayor, for answering most of my questions when I called Friday on this. And the reason why I'm concerned about it is if it happens to come up maybe on my street. Number one is the definition of an Airbnb. I know it's short-term and long-term. When I was talking to Jeremy a while ago, he said he thought there was someone renting it month to month for medical reasons. So I would think that would be an exception. It's not, are they renting it month to month for
There's-
medical reasons? That's what he
Well,
told me.
Blue Oval, for instance, do they rent it month to month? Is that how they do it?
They can do 2 months, 3 months, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh, no worries, yeah, no worries.
We do have a renter that comes there that rents once a week per month, who gets cancer
Yes.
treatments for their child, but they're only there a week.
Okay.
She gets treatments down there, but it's just like a set revolving,
So there's a little balance. They've got some extended stay and then they have the Airbnb.
But that would maybe be something that you all would consider, an exception.
Well, it's a short-term rental.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
but,
It's still a short-term rental, even though it's it's medically, she's staying somewhere close for the medical treatment because she's traveling in, so it's still a short-term rental. It's still,
so it's still considered Airbnb.
yeah, well, yeah, Airbnb is a short-term rental.
Okay,
Airbnb is actually a company.
so,
Short-term rental is what they do.
okay.
Yeah.
is this gonna be an Airbnb all the time or both?
He said both.
Both, they're both.
It's according to.
Can you have both in a R2? You can, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Because his long terms, like he said, are a lot of times work-related. So it's just
Oh,
their
okay.
contract.
Okay, gotcha.
He's doing a lot of Blue Oval. It's their contract, so that's why, he's extending it for their contract.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay. And again, Mayor, thank you for answering most of my
you're welcome.
questions. And, I did find out that the property owners, their value of their property does not go down.
No.
So, I mean, you know, and again, I'm looking at it as if maybe one of these days they'll come down our street or something, you know, so.
It's becoming a popular thing.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times, realtors will buy them and, turn them into Airbnbs.
And I think it's a good idea that we have people like Mr. Ray Hill, that keeps his properties cleaned up, and the city don't have to worry about sending somebody out there and all
Right.
this. And I did read, Airbnb in E-Town that if for some reason the owner's out of town or something and can't be reached to come down immediately, you can call the police, and then the city gets involved, or the county, and will use their code enforcement,
Yeah,
like
if
you
there's a
had told
problem,
me.
but I feel pretty comfortable after everything he's mentioned tonight. He's watching his camera a whole lot, but we thank you for doing that. I think we got that today. It's okay. Too much is a whole lot better than not enough.
He keeps
And then-
saying too much.
Yes.
When we're out of town, we have a backup person.
I was
Alright.
gonna say,
Good.
yeah,
Alright.
Airbnb requires a backup part. I read so much about the Airbnb, and they have a person within an hour away.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so.
Plumbing leaks or the roof leaks, I've gotta have somebody as a backup to
Yep.
get in there and find out what's going on, or if somebody has problems, we always have somebody that's gonna go down.
I think there'll be a good one. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll get them all like him.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah, let's
Joe.
hope so.
Appreciate it. All right. Council, thank you for all your questions. That's the only signing speaker we had. We do need to adjourn to go to executive session. Oh. Which one is, oh, I'm sorry, which one? Oh. No, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry, we have Catherine Dozier here, actually having with ordinance 024004. It's an,
Yeah, I was gonna say, there was another.
I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself, Miss Jennifer.
All right, do I have a sponsor for this ordinance? God, I hate this guy. Anybody? Okay, thank you, Brad. All right, summary of ordinance 024004, an ordinance repealing section 110.02 of the Shepherdsville Code of Ordinances related to farmers market annual license fee. Summary. 1, repeals in its entirety section 110.02 of the Shepherdsville Code of Ordinances related to farmers market annual license fee. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
All right, do we want to have some conversation now, Bonnie? Yeah,
I'm not for this.
okay.
I think that if we need to make changes, it needs to be the council who makes changes to the license fee, not someone else. And that's just my opinion.
Any other questions? I'll just share with you on this. First of all, that when this was set up in 18, it was set up with $20. And in that time, they've raised it 4 times without ever changing the ordinance.
No, it's only changed twice.
It's changed twice,
It was changed, one time after that,
And
and
you
then
got 2
they never
tiers.
changed it last year.
but you had 2 tiers. My concern is this, and this is just for you, council, you guys can do what you want to do, but I wanted you all to think about what business do we want to be in as far as farmers markets fees. I think it's important, let me just finish this real quick, Bonnie, before you get your comment, is that you need to keep in mind that is that business of the city to actually put in farmers markets fees?
My concern is that a lot of these people who come to the farmer's market are not big money people. These are local farmers just trying to make an extra dollar, and in order to keep their prices down so our people in the city can afford this stuff, I don't want to make it more expensive for them to get it. The whole point of a farmer's market is to make it for the people who can't afford the ridiculous prices that our grocery stores are charging us. And it
So you-
makes an income. I was a farmer. I grew up being a farmer, so I know what it's like
You
and
know
how
what the
hard
pr-
we work.
Yeah, no worries. But you know what the price is now, right? 75 versus the 75 and 100 that was out there. They took the 100 away, we made it 75. I think it allows us to make it even less.
It was 40 and 50 before that, the year before.
And I think we should go back down. I think it should go back down.
Listen, I'm okay with the price we put it. I don't want it, you leave an ordinance, you're gonna have to come here every time and have a first and second reading on changing your price. That's the whole purpose of taking it out. You guys can make it whatever you wanna make it. I don't care what we make it, but we
Well,
gotta make
if-
sure to at least cover the cost of the person that's doing it.
If we take it out of ordinance though, then we lose control of the price. The council does.
So what price, I mean, we can do this as a group. This doesn't have to be by one person. We can come here and actually, I don't mind it. We had to come up with something that's fair. And the problem with that you have is you want to make sure that you're doing business, the business you're supposed to be doing. Farmers markets and fees are not in the business of the cities. And all I'm going to say is I know other cities do it, but I think you're going to find yourself managing something and you don't. That was the purpose of bringing it to your attention. And I think the biggest thing for me is we can make it what we need to make it fair and equitable. I think that we are capable of doing that without putting in an ordinance.
So the existing ordinance now, does that govern just our farmer's market, or is that any farmer's market?
Well, it's an ordinance. You make it an ordinance, you have to make it, you're making an ordinance for everybody's
Well,
farmer's
that's my
market.
point. Do we want to get in the business of regulating any farmer's market that
It
sets
says
up in the
farmer's
city?
market, that means we're gonna have to regulate what everybody, so if you put a farmer's
I
market
don't
out
want to
there.
tell a independent business person what they're going to charge somebody to set up at their little market or whatever. So, I mean, if that's the way the ordinance reads, it's probably not a good ordinance.
That's really all we wanna do, guys. This is no more and no less, making sure that we make this fair and
Now,
equitable.
I will add the caveat that, and I discussed this with you, is we do need to have a policy about how we govern our own farmer's market. Like, you know, how we're gonna allot slots and what we're gonna charge and.
Yep, and so
all
she's
this.
working, before I forget, I don't know if she sent it to you yet, but she's actually sending you a guideline for the farmer's markets here in the city. And it's her responsibility to do that. She's running them. I think she should have the authority to actually set up the guidelines that she wants. This is a day-to-day, and it's her ability to run a farmer's market. When it comes to monetary, that's not what we want to be in. It's not a monetary thing. Farmer's markets are farmer's
We
market.
want to keep it at a good price.
No, well, that's not a problem. It's just a matter of, we don't want to be in the business of ordinances on prices for farmer's market, and we need to allow the person that's running it.
Who's the person that's running? Are we talking about Amber?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just making
Oh,
sure.
no worries.
I keep, like, it's like vague, and I'm
No,
like going.
no, it's
"Who's
Amber,
running
and
it?"
Amber should have the ability to run it the way she wants to run it. I think that's what we ought to make sure we understand in this. It's no more, no less. It's her responsibility. She takes all of it on. She'd be the one that should be doing it. And also, like I said, if you're gonna get in there and start regulating, you put an ordinance in place, it isn't just for ours, it's for everybody's. And we haven't followed that. That's why this is brought up. So, bottom line, we gotta,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to clarify, there was a clerical mistake. It is section 110.22 of the Code of Ordinances. And I wanted to correct that before the next reading,
Yeah,
even though it was just clerical.
I'll be more than glad, we can expand the conversation, be glad to talk to you all even
And-
further about it.
Brad, it says that it regulates this for any location designated and approved for such purposes by the city. So,
It's only ours.
it says all fresh farm produce and farm products may be sold by the owner of the farm producing those items for sale during the times and at a location designated and approved for such purpose by the city for an annual fee. So it doesn't really have to be us. I could come and say, hey, I would like to set up a farmer's market on my property. And technically I'd have to come to the city and right now pay the $20 if I wanted to set it, like if I don't know, somebody in town wanted to do their own farmer's market, I would come to you guys and have to get approval.
I think it was well intended. I have no
Is that the way I
questions
read
with
it?
everything was set up, but we don't wanna do that.
No, we don't want to regulate it. If somebody sets up their roadside thing to sell fruits and vegetables, I don't want to touch that. I think it got taken out of context as it was set up for our farmer's
That's
market.
why I'm trying to change it.
Shepherdsville,
Yep.
City of Shepherdsville Farmer Market.
Yeah, so that's what we
Though,
wanna do.
we wanted to keep those prices down for them. It shouldn't have to do anything with people setting up on the side of the road or the,
But remember, it's an ordinance, and remember that part. It's set up in an ordinance in the city, so again, everybody's obligated to follow our guidelines.
so how do we regulate the price of it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think it's important for Amber to come to us with what she would like to charge for it and just make sure she gets some feedback from us. I don't think there's a thing that you want to have first and second readings and have it part of our day-to-day business. That's not what this is about. This is about making sure that she has the ability to run it with, because again, she'll price herself out. There'd be no way. And the fact is, if you look at what she's done, the fact that she had 15 new ones last year, she's got 18 more, and she's got more farmers this year. So there's that's gonna be the big thing, is it needs to go back to gear to a farmer's market. If you look at the makeup, just because it hasn't been able to work out, nothing bad, but it's been more vendors, more crafts. It needs to be farmer's market, and that's what it's going back to. She's picked up some new farmers to be involved in, and I think that's the key.
But don't
Yeah.
farmers get exempt from farmers market fees? I thought farmers
No,
were exempt.
no, no,
Only,
no.
I thought if they were
No,
registered
no.
with the
Only
Kentucky.
if it's
No,
with
the Kentucky Pride, no, that doesn't work like that.
Okay.
No.
ag only.
So, but it's important for you guys to know, that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up to you, because let's pick and choose what we're gonna manage. I think it's important for you all to have your thoughts on it, but I think you wanna make sure that you don't wanna be in the business for the folks out there that wanna put something together, they have to come regulate, to come to us. But we have some guidelines on it. I've asked Amber to put some guidelines for you all to see it, so that we, again,
I think that would help us better making our decision on that, if we could see something like that.
yeah, that's fine, but I just wanna make sure that we didn't wanna put a price in there that we have to be regulated for everybody that comes up, and even Amber. You're gonna keep creating more of a problem. Let her decide, she's running it, let her operate it, it's gonna be good. Just my opinion, just like everybody else is up here. Just think about it. Like I said, we'll talk more about it. We've got some time for our next meeting. I think the key for you all is to decide what's the reason you're doing, why are we doing this? Okay? Bonnie, I appreciate it. All right, well, thank you, Ms. Catherine. All right, we do need to actually go to executive session, so Ms. Catherine, what is it we need to do?
We are going into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101C to discuss pending litigation.
All right, need a motion to adjourn, please,
I'll make a motion.
or motion to get into executive session.
Motion to go into
Yeah,
executive, not adjourn.
I'm sorry, make a motion to go into executive session. Sorry about that. My fault. Not-
Okay, hold on. Jennifer,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith, Mike,
Yes.
Paula.
We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you all. I know, sit down.
I'll take it.
Guys, we can't leave this open.
Oh, he can go if he wants. Yeah, he don't have to stay. Sophie just wants to see the cats. We gotta go to executive session, so sit down. You gotta sit down, we're going to executive session.
I was waiting, but you didn't do it. Rattle down on the jump.
I'm tired today.
I figure there won't be much left after we come back.
Right. I hope not.
at like 4 or 5.
Oh,
And then I
okay.
just work the rest of the night.
What part y'all going to?
Just above San Antonio and
Okay.
then,
Come back in here. Where's Brad?
Christie. Oh, we gotta shut that door.
Oh, I put the cat out the other one.
Oh, okay. Cats are stupid. Probably be violating.
Motion to, oh,
You know,
Law.
First of all, let's get a motion.
I'll make a motion to
Hey,
retire.
second,
I'll
please.
second.
Second, Jennifer. Brenda.
No decision.
okay.
You should
No,
have.
no, I'll do that in a minute.
Mike,
Yes?
Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and Brad.
Yes.
All right, since Tom's not here, we're just gonna do it in memory of Tom. There's no action taken right now. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, he's been under the weather. Yeah, just let y'all know, but he actually, with the time of our meeting in the school board, sometimes has a little trick getting here. All right, no action taken this time. So planning and zoning, we've already talked to. Board of Adjustments, I know we have Mr. Dwayne Price here. How are you, sir? Come on up here for a minute.
Like I told y'all last week, December was all about not working. January meeting was all about Hill Deal and Hot Cook. We wanted to have the application for Shepherd Hill, so I haven't got my docket for February yet.
Okay.
But I have, we don't never go 2 months without something.
No worries.
Right.
No worries. All right, well, Dwayne, we appreciate you being here, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Happy New Year, but I gotta tell y'all,
Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you, Dwayne.
I had good health and all.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Dwayne.
much. Chief Schmidt, we're asking all of the department heads if you'll come up here, because what happens is, we can't hardly hear you. Push the button, so,
Can't hear you on YouTube.
yeah, we want to make sure they hear you, get to hear everything.
We got it.
I gotta be able to go back and make sure I can hear things just in case.
Oh, okay. Well, not a whole lot to report. What we're doing is, one of the things I do want to share with y'all, there's a couple, just pulling together the stats from last year and trying to get a baseline for where we're heading. I know some of y'all's concerns from last year when I first got here was y'all wanted to see us more visible, see more interaction. I think we've been successful at that. We're crunching the numbers, and two of the big ones I want to add is, and I know that the officers were doing a lot of this before, it's just that they weren't calling into dispatch or logging it in, but our extra patrols have gone up 976 from 2022 to 2023. So that's just showing that they're in the neighborhoods, they're at businesses, they're doing more of what we ask them to do. And then the other one was traffic stops had gone up 470 over the year. And some of what they know is that, my feelings with that is, a citation will work, a warning citation will work just as well as giving somebody a citation that costs them money. That's not what we're here for. Sometimes to correct behavior and just be seen. So there's two big stats right there that show they have been out doing a lot more in the last year, or at least doing it in a way that we're aware of it. So I think we're being successful on that. We'll just continue on with it. And then I'd like to add is that we're trying to put this together. I talked to the mayor earlier this afternoon, is over the weekend. Fortunately, there was a house fire out on Highway 44, but 3 of our officers got there, could see the smoke billowing out of the house. They went in through the front door, got one gentleman out, thought there was just a dog left in there, went back to get the dog when the gentleman was able to relay that his wife was also back there in the back of the building. And the body camera video is very, this shows you inside the house with the flames shooting up, the smoke. And then the one person actually was kind of disoriented, didn't want to come out. But they were able to get the 2 people and the dog out, and the house is a total loss. So we're going to be looking at what type of award to put those officers in. I'm hoping that we can edit some of that and put it on our Facebook or put it out.
A little
so
colorful
people
in the
can-
language, just so you'll know.
No, there wasn't even that. I reviewed it, but what I don't want is to have the people inside the house when they're yelling I don't want that. So I think
Sure.
what I'm going to do is just delete the audio
That's what I meant.
completely.
Yeah, just
and-
a lot
and
of
then people can see
excitement,
what's going on,
anxiety.
'cause we don't want to see the people in their time of need. And I've talked to them, and they said they would agree to it and actually sign a release for us to
Okay.
use it. So be looking for that to come out. It just shows what they do every day. So. I just wanna pass
Chief,
that
we really
on.
appreciate your presence in the neighborhoods. We talked a lot about that. We really do appreciate it.
Any questions or?
No, thank you, Chief.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, if you'll bring back the fire department, we got somebody replacing Lane today. Come on up here, Mr. Newton. I'm sorry.
Lane sent his apologies for not being here. He wasn't
Push the button there.
Lane sent his apologies for not being here. He started feeling a little bit bad later in the day, so he decided to go home. He said that he didn't have anything to report, but I look forward to seeing you all over the next month. So,
I do want, Evans, I do want to make sure that we let people know that we have 12 new recruits. We've got a grant that we actually have them for the next 2 years, actually paid for by this grant. Now, what that means for the city and our growth, how many of those folks actually stay on staff is something we're still discussing, but glad to have them, and I know there's
so
going
the
to be a
12
big.
recruits have came back to Shepherdsville.
Mhm.
Currently, they graduate their recruit class on February the 1st. That's the graduation date. And then after that, you'll start seeing them. They're going to stay in a 40-hour week for about another month after that, so that they can kind of learn the ways of Shepherdsville, the way we do things and things of that nature. And then you'll see them on hitting the streets roughly around the first part of March. So,
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Tell
Tom?
me how to get there.
Yep. Come on up in a minute, Tom.
I don't have much, Mayor, but I'll take any questions you got.
All right. Well, I learned a lot about weather. We talked a lot about that and what we do. This was my first time around with adverse conditions, as we call them, with the ice and some of the snow. And for a lot of you, obviously, Tom and I talked, and this is for just a few that are still left here. Thank you all for being here with us. It's important for you all to know that there are certain measurements and guidelines, actually by the state, as how you actually do when you plow. You got to have enough snow to plow.
Right.
So people's, half inch or so might be kind of an inconvenience, but there's obviously something we can't do about that. And then obviously when the weather's really, really cold, it doesn't put any intention to put down salt. It'll make it even worse. So
Yeah.
sometimes people feel like we're not actually engaged in that. We're just trying to communicate so everybody understands that. I've actually tried to make sure that anytime we can do that, to let you guys know when we're trying to get out, we're trying to actually, we talked about first responders, trying to be there for them so they can get to those folks that need us during these times. But just so you all know that, I mean, I kind of mentioned that a little bit to you guys, but I want to make sure, Bonnie, you had called me.
Yeah, the first thing we do is make sure that our first responders can get out. That's a very most important thing. If fire, police, EMS can't get out, that's a bigger problem. So by all means, most of us can stay home if it's that bad. We don't need to be out anyway. So we're gonna make sure the first responders who we're all expecting to be out there, that they can get out safely. So then secondly, what we do is we go into the city and look for our main arteries that people can come and go by. Then next in line is gonna be big business for us. Big business for us is big money for the city, and that's called our industrial park. So we make sure that's as clean as possible, so those folks can get to work and keep those businesses open. And then the very last thing we do, and the lowest thing on our priority, is neighborhoods and subdivisions. But we will get to them, and we always do. So, but as the mayor said, if it's 0 degrees and we've got an inch of snow on the ground, if I put salt on that, I'm gonna create an ice rink, is what's gonna happen. So, and I'll give you a great example. We came over here to City Hall at 4:30 in the morning and cleaned off City Hall of the snow. You know what we used? Leaf blowers.
That's what I used.
We could have salted it and created ice, but instead we used leaf blowers. Works fantastic, so. There's method to the madness. Brian does a phenomenal job as long as it's not raining before it happens. Brian has to dry for 24 to 36 hours, yeah.
Do we have the capability to do front?
We have an old tank that we've not used in a while. The only thing that we brine at all was what we call our hills, which is in a couple neighborhoods, Conestoga, and the county is so gracious to help us with those. So we have been working on a brine truck to get it back in business. So yeah, but the county helps us out. So we help them with some of theirs. They help us with a lot of ours. So.
Well, Tom, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming
Absolutely.
up. All right.
Oh, and just so everyone knows, we were able to purchase 2 new trucks, 2 new salt trucks. So 2 of the older ones that's been having to spend a lot of money on and work on and so forth, they're going to be out of there. So
We got budgets.
we got a
coming
couple
up.
new ones. So.
Got budgets coming up this month.
That's right. So.
Tom, I appreciate it, Brian.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Y'all have a good night.
Okay, so we couldn't do anything.
Questions over. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
So, okay, I'm just asking. So we could not do anything as far as roads, like us,
What's that
because you said that it was too code for
Yeah, there
brine
was no-
or salt?
The salt, the snow accumulation was the first thing. You can't use plows, you tear up the roads.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough snow on the road, so it was really kind of weird. If it had like 2 or 3 inches, that'd have been great, we could've done something.
That's
'Cause
right.
they
But if
did
it's
my road.
Oh, no.
The state did,
They,
or the county, state or county,
Which road
somebody
is on?
did it.
Which road?
yeah.
West Blue Lick,
Okay, West Blue is the state road.
yeah. It was clear, mine was
No,
clear.
they'll-
Preston was
they'll-
clear, I
A
mean,
lot of it's brine.
Well, and again, we had 2 events. At the first event
Yeah.
and then the second event. So the
Yeah.
first event, when it got so cold, that's when we don't do the neighborhoods. Because
Yeah.
again, it makes it so slick and when people start walking in it, it
Yeah.
becomes a problem.
okay.
So,
And the
There are certain
brine's
roads that will be
mainly for, am I wrong? The brine's mainly for like Conestoga and places
hills,
like that.
hills.
Yeah, and not
Keeps
really
it from sitting on a hill.
Yeah,
No.
they don't brine neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It would be too expensive.
Even
to
the
get.
county don't do the neighborhoods. They do, like, Greenbrier and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
But they
state's
don't
going
go
away
like
from
they
Bryan
do the other little
altogether.
Subdivisions.
They're not gonna use it.
They'd be out all night.
So,
Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ms. Jennifer.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Tom.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer.
y'all have a good
All right.
night.
I always ask this question. Ms. Brenda, would you like any insights to what's going on?
No, I think we did good in the department head.
We had a good department. We did, we actually did. I know that Arthur and Scott have had a really rough time with this weather. We've had some things really been kind of rocky. Hate to use the word, pardon the pun, rocky. But it was a little bit, they had a lot of turbulence over the last few days as far as the sewer department. But I want to make sure that you all know that, first of all, that Arthur did actually, we actually got a grant for $6 million for that expansion on the sewer department. So we're actually, and that $6 million is going to go towards another $15 million.
got it?
It's been awarded to us, that we're gonna get, but our $15 million, our expansion is what we need. That's the key in this, because the growth of our city is gonna depend on that growing. So, we need that growth, and that growth has to come there. So we are looking at housing, that's obviously a big part, integral part of this, but that's gonna be a good thing for the city. The sewer department is obviously its own entity, people need to keep those two general funds and sewer, but it's important you know that that's a big deal. I know it may not seem like that, but it really is. It's gonna be big for the city and the growth. All right. Thank you, Ms. Joe. All right, did I start with Bonnie the last time? And then you all went around and thank God Paula saved me. Was that what happened last time? Everybody said no?
Everybody said, yeah, Paula was last.
All right, Paula, you go first today.
Only thing, we have a beautification meeting tomorrow at 6:30, and it's right here, so anybody can come, so that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Paula. Mike Hibbert.
I'll start the string. I really don't have anything
All right.
tonight either.
Thanks, Mike.
So
Hey.
should I make something up, Mike?
Make something up. Don't lie.
Don't lie?
Don't
All
lie.
right, well,
Just
then
make
I-
something up.
Well, I don't have anything.
All right, all right. Ms. Jennifer?
I just want to say, send my condolences to Rob Adams and his family. He lost his mother, last week, and so I just want him to know he's in my prayers.
Thank you very much for that, Ms. Jennifer. Bradley?
Just one thing, I sent all of my colleagues a email concerning a collective bargaining issue, so if you could please get back to me this week, and so we can get this placed on the docket for the future.
I just want to say, I appreciate Brad's effort on this, so thank you.
Brad, in your email, you said something about just one section, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And that issue has been tentatively worked out.
okay.
He's got to run it past the lawyers, and then they'll have to vote on it again, which won't take very long. So,
It needs to be done, because it's been 10 months. So, yes,
yeah, so
Thank you.
I think we're good.
we gotta take care of it.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Miss Bonnie?
I have nothing.
Don't you do that? All right.
Love it.
All right, thank you, Miss Bonnie. All right, with that said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Paula, Mike, is a second.
Woo-hoo.
All right.
All right.
Roll call?
Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Paula.
All right, well, thank you all. Have a great evening. Miss Catherine, have a safe trip. Have some fun.
I will.